Topics to be covered in this video include what is overfishing, leading causes of overfishing, effects of overfishing, and solutions to stop overfishing. Belize fishing industry. The Belizean fishing industry dates back to the time of the Maya when snappers and anchovies were the most important food from the sea. The modern fishing industry in Belize revolves around the capture of lobster and conch, and to a lesser extent, finfish such as snappers and groupers. The aquaculture sector grows Pacific white shrimp primarily. Overfishing happens when excess fishing affects multiple species, assemblages composition, food web dynamics, or ecosystem function. From Brightland, Charles. Belize is home to Mesoamerica Barrier Reef, the largest such reef in the Western Hemisphere and whose magnificent ecosystem is seriously threatened. Leading causes of overfishing. The rapid population growth the country is experiencing, aligned with the limited employment opportunities. Local fishermen feel the need to catch all they can or accept their losses to illegal fishermen. Fishermen that abide by the regulations set forth by the Belize Fisheries Department are not applauded, thus no form of motivation to encourage. Effects of overfishing. Overfishing, especially near Belize Barrier Reef, Glover's Reef, and Turnip Atoll negatively affect the reef's ecological balance and biodiversity. Overfishing will lead to the depletion of various species due to the fact that the population will not get the required grace period to reproduce and embrace population growth, or at least its turnover. This pie chart represents fish stocks in Belize in the year 2000. Underexploited, 9%, moderately exploited, 23%, fully heavily exploited, 44%, overexploited, 16%, depleted, 6%, recovering, 3%. The attached photos clearly indicate reasons for the depletion that is occurring in Belize. Too many fishermen. Additionally, the demand is also high. What can we do to stop overfishing? 1. Conduct count in an effort to make estimates on health of the fishery over time. 2. Protection of pristine and important habitats. The key parts in ecosystems need full protection from destructive fisheries. Example, the spawning and nursing grounds of fish, delicate seafloor, unique unexplored habitats, and the corals. 3. Monitoring and enforcement. A monitoring system to make sure fishermen do not land more than they are allowed to, do not fish in closed areas, and cheat as less as possible. Strong monetary enforcement is needed to make it uneconomic to cheat. Additional means to embrace fish forever. The elements of success. Community support. Fishery management. Links to markets. Fisheries policy. Exclusive access privileges. Fish recovery zones. Monitoring and evaluation. Local enforcement system. Here's a short clip on sustainable fishing practices done at Glover's Reef.
This video was produced by David Dohenhofer for the Summit Foundation. Additional photos, Rachel Graham and Virginia Burns. We thank WCS, EDF, Belize Fisheries Department, and fishermen.
Marine Reserve. Somewhere between 75 and 100 fishermen were snorkeling in the turquoise waters, collecting conch from the lagoon floor. It is a ritual that has been going on for decades, but October 1st of 2011 was different because it marked the first conch season for which a special license was required to fish at Glover's Reef. Julio Mas of the Wildlife Conservation Society went from boat to boat visiting with the fishermen. He wanted to make sure that they understood the rules of the new managed access system which his organization was promoting at Glover's Reef. The Wildlife Conservation Society, together with the Environmental Defense Fund, have helped the Belize Fisheries Department to introduce managed access at 2 of the country's marine reserves. It's part of a long-term strategy to make Belize's fisheries sustainable that the Summit Foundation and the Oak Foundation are supporting. According to Moss, the goal is to allow traditional fishermen to make a living while maintaining the viability of conch, lobster, and fish populations, and to conserve the biodiversity that makes Glover such an important place. The 135 square mile marine reserve has been declared a World Heritage Site. It protects an oval barrier reef topped with 6 keys and a vast lagoon that holds 850 patch reefs. It's home to hundreds of species, from colorful angelfish and snappers to sharks and dolphins. It also has one of Belize's most important spawning sites for the endangered Nassau grouper. The spawning site is closed to fishing for 3 months of the year, whereas a conservation zone covering 20% of the reserve is protected year-round. The rest of the reserve was open to anyone with a fishing license before 2011, as most of Belize's marine reserves are. The problem with open access is that it leads to overfishing, which threatens the ecosystem and the fisheries that local people depend on. This is a concept that 65-year-old Oscar Mena doesn't need explained. He's been fishing at Glover's for 40 years, and he reckons that it has 1/5 the conch and lobster that it did 4 decades ago. He added that the situation has deteriorated significantly during the past 5 years. Luke Nunez and other fishermen from the town of Hopkins remember the days when 3 fishermen could catch 400 conch in a day at Glover's. Now they sometimes fish all day to get just 30 pounds, which barely covers the cost of gasoline to reach the atoll. According to Nunez, sustainability is a good idea, but not all fishermen agree.